Yeah, maybe thought a unit was going to creep in, and he would be able to go back into the into TLO's base. Maybe a misstep there, but right now, maybe a little kind of scouting, you know. Scouting force here for Sen, going to poke in his head to this expansion, see what he can see. What he sees is a spine crawler and feels like that's probably enough. That's probably all he needs to see. That TLO is now kind of entrenching himself, much like Sen has done. The rest of the roaches for Sen are going to follow suit to that scouting party, as well as the Cider here. Infester's doing a great job to put the fungal growth on those roaches before they even come into the choke point. So TLO knows that the attack is coming. Trying
Yeah,
to get
TLO
these.
making a lot of infestors here. He's got 6 out on the board, and yeah, I really like that use of fungal growth, just weakening up all those roaches before actually engaging, lowering their hit points and then backing off.
A lot more spine crawlers on the way as well. Hopefully for TLO, they're gonna finish building. One of them's gonna go down before it finishes building, but I think quite a lot of spine crawlers doing some good work here for TLO. If he can keep those infestors out of harm's way, going to be able to definitely take a tactical advantage from this skirmish here. Sen actually
Sen certainly did have a lot of roaches, and they're slowly being destroyed. Looks like these roaches are pretty much running out here, but Sen definitely committed with that attack.
Yeah, Sen actually bringing up 2 of his spine crawlers all the way up from his expansion. It was just really good stuff there. Oh, maybe he built them with drones. I actually missed that, but definitely wanted to go full bore with this attack, and probably was able to take out a few more units than he would have otherwise. But definitely good job there by TLO to anticipate the attack, to use his infestors well, use his placement, use his spine crawlers, and twice now we've seen this kind of parallel expansion for both players be more or less an impenetrable fort, and that's really the way it needs to be on a 2-player map.
Yeah, absolutely. Neither player is really making air right now, and both players are very vulnerable to air, but as we were discussing earlier, Zerg can transition so quickly. They would probably be able to handle it if somebody came out with an air attack at this point in the game.
Yeah, TLO using queens for his AA right now. I was going to say that Sen was being a little overzealous with his overlords, considering that there was no air on the field. There's another changeling for Sen. He's going to try to get this one a little bit more usefulness than the other one. Turns into a Zergling and is going to sneak into TLO's base and see what he can see. For now, as you said, maybe air could turn the tide for one of these 2 players. A couple of burrowed roaches, infestors going down there for TLO to do his own bit of scouting. Maybe a little harassment on these workers.
Infestors are rarely used for this purpose. They can just burrow through the ground and get in there, do some good scouting and possibly pop down. Well, I guess they have to unburrow to do fungal growth, but they can shoot out infested Terrans without unburrowing, and he may be doing a infested Terran harass here. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I definitely think that's what we're going to see. Sen actually moving the bulk of his army away from this expansion. Perfect timing for TLO to come back here and drop some infested Terrans down on these workers and put out some very good harassment. Both of their main bases getting whittled down at the moment, so these expansions very valuable to the 2 players. But at the same time, before he has time to do that, TLO going to have to fend off a little bit of an attack up here. He is going to do that. Sen was able to, TLO was able to turn that away, but TLO was distracted enough that his infestors just kind of sat idle at this point. Hopefully TLO puts his attention back to these infestors.
Yeah, it looks like the time has passed for this harassment, as Sen now moves out half of his drones from his main expansion to his gold expansion, and yeah, like any infested Terran harass at this point would not be nearly as good as it would have been about 30 seconds ago.
There are the infestors. TLO putting fungal growth on the workers. Looks like that's going to take out a large chunk of these workers, and the harassment doing a very good job there. But as you said, Bayes getting his gold mineral expansion up and running way before TLO's expansion is up and running, but he is getting workers mining that gold, bringing it to his natural expansion, so he's going to get the benefit of the gold minerals.
Look
But
at that. I actually like how he used the fungal growth there. I did not realize that two fungal growths was enough to kill every single drone that happened to get splashed by the fungus. And TLO just got pretty much all the drones of that expansion with the fungal growth.
Sen trying a double-pronged attack here. TLO very, very quick to fungal growth. Both contingents of Roach is going to have to take care of this side of Roaches if he really wants to exert a lot of authority with this Ultralisk. One Ultralisk going to town on all these Roaches, keeping them occupied for the time being. I think that TLO will be able to turn this attack into a very, very prosperous harass. However, Sen's reinforcements come in fast and furious, and it looks like those Ultralisks have lived out their usefulness, and TLO maybe not going to get as much of an effective harass as he wanted to in this fight.
Yeah, TLO turning back with his infestor to pop down one more fungal growth before fleeing, and these roaches will continue to stream in from his base.
Another Ultralisk on the way for TLO, going to push that line of Roaches back. The Ultralisk should go down pretty quickly, but it's definitely going to put the scare into Sen. Sen now turning the tide back, and this is definitely a tug-of-war kind of battle, all being determined how effective the Ultralisks can be. These two queens will go down a little out of their element here, being very, very slow off the creep. TLO getting kind of desperate with the queens, and army size, I'm looking around, and it definitely looks like with the Sen's reinforcements streaming in here, he may be able to really do some damage to these expansions.
Yeah, Sen sticking with a very simple composition, just roaches, really. And TLO mixing it up a little bit more, throwing in infestors and Ultralisks. And, I mean, I like unit mixing. I would like to see TLO come out on top here, but I'm not exactly sure at this point if that's going to happen.
Yeah, TLO absolutely no upgrades for his units. 1-1 upgrades for Sen might be turning the tide here. These spine crawlers doing their best to kind of delay this attack, but a large clump of upgraded Roaches against TLO's non-upgraded Roaches, non-upgrading Ultralisks. The Ultralisks definitely doing their job here, but this is only giving more time for Sen to send in reinforcements. And this gold mineral expansion looks like it's going to go down. There it goes. And this is going to put TLO definitely behind as far as income, as far as his ability to reinforce. And Sen gonna drop his troops over here by the Zelnaga Watchtower in weight. TLO doing the same thing more or less towards the other tower. Going to do a little bit of scouting, if not some harass, if he sees that he is able to actually pull that off. But Sen's going to have a sighter that's well placed there. These Roaches are going to have to turn tail and run very quickly.
Yeah, I would have to say that TLO has probably given up at this point in the game. If you look at the sheer amount of Roaches that Sen has out there running around, and knowing that he's really good at focusing down those Ultralisks and kiting, that look at that, one volley takes an Ultralisk down to half health, and even with TLO's expert fungal growthing, I mean, I'm not sure what he can do right now.
Yeah, the upgrades on the Roach attack now moving up to 2, so that's 1, 2 as far as the upgrades on the units. TLO still not having any upgrades on his units. It's definitely gonna tell the tale here of this match, and if Sen were to move up this choke point, only one spine crawler keeping him from TLO's main expansion and his main base. This gold mineral expansion very well protected by spine crawlers, but it's going to take a long time to move those spine crawlers into position. If Sen, but like you said, Bass, this sheer number of Roaches, and especially considering their upgrades, I don't think TLO is going to be able to handle this.
Yeah, again, just like one air unit could have taken them all out, but Sen obviously would have changed his strategy if TLO had gone to air. But when you're facing just that many Roaches, you got to do something. Yeah. And I don't think Ultralisks is the answer, unfortunately, for TLO.
Well, it's funny. Like I said before in the game, the more I watched TLO, the more I thought that he was playing Zerg like a Terran. He invested tons in static base defense. He had tons of spine crawlers, kind of stuck with a firm unit mix, but didn't really change strategies at appropriate times, while the Zerg was adapting very quickly. And of course, Terrans can beat Zerg, if they play well. But if you're going to play Zerg, especially against another Zerg, then you have to be very quick minded as far as switching your strategy, and as you say, maybe a little bit of air, maybe something different from TLO. Not such a huge investment in static defenses might have helped him out. Maybe an investment in upgrades and unit upgrades. But Sen played the very good Zerg game here, and maybe the little one has just a little bit more practice as far as sticking with Zerg exclusively, but definitely some smart stuff at the same time. TLO's never gonna just bow out easily.
Yeah, but I gotta give credit to the little one to at least doing an interesting strategy. I mean,
Yeah.
all roaches all the time. It kind of reminds me of back in the beta, where roaches cost 1, and that was every game, And this is what Sen did. He just built roaches and nothing but roaches, and he did upgrade them, and that is very powerful to get upgraded roaches. But it's just kind of disappointing to me that an all roaches strategy does win out over a roaches, infestors, and ultralisk mix. I mean, I like I said, there is a mix out there that will beat roaches, but TLO just didn't find it today.
Well, I think had he not built so many spine crawlers, had he expanded a little bit faster, just these little fundamental changes, and I think he would have been able to keep up with the sheer amount of units that Sen was producing. I think Sen recognized the weakness, and that's why he shoved roaches down his face. I mean, these guys recognize what they need to do to win, and that's the only thing that matters to them, is to win these games. And if when they're trying out new strategies, that's fine. Often that they practice together and stuff like that. But a lot of times, they get that killer instinct, and when they recognize a weakness, they're going to exploit it. And in this case, Sen just kind of open the floodgates of roaches, and probably not as drastic as like you said, when they were worth 1 food, but this is definitely old school roach play that Sen kind of busted out here. And though it may be a little bit uninteresting and uninspired to see, he took TLO down, a very, very formidable opponent.
Yeah, I found it interesting that just one last thing, that TLO did not get his ultralisk +2 armor upgrade. I find that that's something that I always do if I'm going to go to roaches, and I don't know if TLO just forgot about it, or if he needed that 150 for something else, but I really can't imagine that he did.
Yeah, I mean, probably just kind of caught up in what was all going on. I mean, it's a problem that everybody makes, even pros. But who knows what was truly going on in TLO's mind? Maybe we'll have to get him on the phone and find out. But for now, we'll just have to speculate that he forgot about the upgrades. And on that note, we thank you for watching. On behalf of myself, Jadius, Bayes, and the Wood League, we thank you for tuning in, and we will see you folks next time.